Welcome back, and with me today is Supervisor Lisa Bartlett. We're happy to have her here, and also she's brought along a guest, Chris Jepson. Chris is the County of Orange archivist and historian. It's great to have you both here today.
Good to be back.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And you know, the reason, of course, that Chris is here today is you've been talking about Dana Point and the Dana Point Harbor and artifacts and time capsule and all this great stuff going on.
Yes, so as you know, back in 1969, there was a time capsule that was buried in the harbor, and it was opened in 2016. Over 100 artifacts were in the tube that was sealed with duct tape, and I can tell you duct tape lasts 50 years.
That's impressive right there.
But it's amazing to see all of the great artifacts that were stuffed into this tube and lasted for 50 years. And
that's amazing.
It's amazing, and they're now at the Cooper Center. And just the community, when we unveiled everything in 2016, it was amazing. 3,000 people came out from the community to take a look at what we've uncovered from the time capsule. And it was just amazing to see. Back in 1969, there weren't a lot of incorporated cities, of course, back then.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we had the ranches and we had organizations, and they all put something into the time capsule that was uncovered in 2016.
Where was that time capsule located in the harbor?
It was in the harbor in a rock.
Okay. Wow, that is. I like the part about the duct tape, that it lasts all this time. You know, we got the Historical Society here, photos of Pat Bates, of course, and who's the other gentleman? I don't know who that is.
Tom Wilson,
okay.
Supervisor Tom Wilson.
Okay,
yes.
And you know, I think sometimes people forget the history of Orange County. You know, it is taught in the lower grades, but then it's sort of forgotten about. And Chris, there is just tremendous amount of history here. And as the supervisor said, the ranches, you know, we hear these names. You know, why is Nellie Gale called Nellie Gale? Why is Moulton called Moulton and Majeska and all this? And a lot of times people don't associate the fact that, you know, these were ranches. These were huge tracts of land, right?
And it goes back even farther than that. I mean,
yeah.
The first, we're really celebrating the 250th anniversary of recorded history in Orange County this year with Porto Las trek through Orange County, starting here in South Orange County.
Wow.
And traveling on up looking for Monterey. And those are the first recorded records we have of California and what it was like in 1769.
Wow.
So yeah,
that is just
people who want to say that history doesn't happen in California. Well,
right, yeah, that's true. But you know, you mentioned that. Well, look at the date there. You know, that's that was going through our revolutionary period. Actually, colonialism at that point. We weren't even at the other point yet. So that's impressive.
Sure, and you think 1776, and why is that important? Well, yes, of course, the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence. Here, we're founding Mission San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah.
So we have our own unique, rich history right here, and it's good for people to know that, to learn that, and it helps them give them a sense of place. And tie them to their community because they have a better understanding of the ground under their feet.
Yeah, that's true. And you're doing this again, right?
Well, we're really in earnest kicking off our Dana Point Harbor revitalization project. And I thought about what can we do that's really significant to start the project. And I thought, why don't we have another time capsule event? So 2019, and the time capsule, 50 years, will be uncovered in 2069. We gave out golden tickets at our ceremony, and a lot of the public came to participate in the time capsule project. Now we have a lot of incorporated cities and a lot of new organizations, so we have many more artifacts and things that we put into the time capsule. It'll be in a clock tower, so this one, very state-of-the-art, and something that will be functional within the harbor. So a clock tower that actually tells time, and in the base of the clock tower we'll have the time capsule contents.
Now, have you put the capsule in there yet?
We are getting ready to do so. We're sorting through all of the artifacts right now.
So that's how do you figure this out? Chris, how do you figure out what is significant today? I mean, there's, you know, technology, these kinds of things, but what do you put in there to think, wow, 50 years ago, we want people to see what life was like?
Well, we're kind of doing what they did in the 1960s when the first time capsule was put in, which is turn to the community. And we're really going to them and saying, what's important to you? So obviously the sponsors who are helping underwrite this whole process of the time capsule will have materials in there that reflect their interest in Orange County. But the majority of the material is really going to be about, it comes from the civic groups, nonprofit groups, it comes from all these different organizations, and they're each contributing something that helps reflect Orange County in this day and age from their perspective. And so in some cases it's going to be a little history of their own organization, or it will be a brochure or booklet about their community, or it will be there's just all kinds of different things going into that. Other documents, photos, sometimes newspapers, newspaper clippings or magazine articles, things that help reflect Orange County circa 2019. And all of that's, all of those sorts of things going together from a wide variety of individuals and groups and organizations are going to help paint that picture 50 years from now. And so that's what we're looking forward to seeing. We've got 6 collection points around the county. I haven't seen what's in all those boxes at the 6 collection points, but what I've taken a peek at so far is it's really great. It does help paint that picture of Orange County, particularly Dana Point and South Orange County, and so. You know,
I think the difference is, of course, today is, I'm not suggesting that you might want to do this, but you could stick a flash drive in there with a bunch of photos in there. Of course, who knows if that would last. But because so much stuff is online nowadays, and I would assume 50 years from now, people are going to still be able to get online and whatever it's going to be at that point, it's a little bit different as far as what you must think of putting there, because back then, we didn't have these technologies. Those kinds of things that went in those time capsules were very indicative of that moment in time that maybe people they didn't think about people could quickly go back and look at this stuff another way because it just didn't exist.
Right. You have to think about that too with putting things in the time capsules. One of the things we considered was what's going to survive for 50 years in the capsule. You don't want just dead weight sitting in there taking up space that something interesting could be in there. And you have to think about how long is a hard drive going to last.
Right, yeah.
You're lucky if you get 10 years out of it.
That's true.
So in ways, sometimes it's things as simple as people contributing. There are a lot of letters to the future, and it is literally just that. It's a letter to the future. It is, and some of that is the most poignant material in these time capsules, and because it really expresses people's hopes and fears for the future. And like I say, I haven't looked at all of them, and really that's the job for somebody 50 years from now, is to really go over this with a fine-tooth comb. Right now, we're just sealing up the letter and sending it to the future. But I can tell you from the one we opened a couple years ago, probably the most poignant thing was a letter from the local VFW, and the veterans expressing their concern, their hope that we would find a way to avoid nuclear war, and we would find a way to peace, and there would still be someone left to open the time capsule in 50 years. And of course, thank God we are. And we're going to do this again. And,
now, the stuff that you took out of there, are they in a museum? Are they going to be put away with someone like yourself? Or are you going to have a display? I know this was several years ago, but is there a location people can
The
look at
material
this?
is in the county archives, and it is available for research. So it is cataloged, organized, preserved, and it will be around in another 50 years and another 100 years for people to still come and do that research. And of course, we're keeping that iron pipe with the duct tape. The supervisor mentioned that just for the fun of it.
Yeah, so that's a good story. I like that one. What about you? You got anything that you would put in that capsule, or are you?
We're looking at a couple of different things. Maybe the 66-year lease for the Dana Point Harbor Partners for the Harbor Project, or perhaps a letter to the future. We're just mulling around a lot of ideas right now. In 1969, there was no internet, And then if you put something that's technology-based, we don't know what we'll be able to read it 50
right.
years from now. Even the barbecue tickets that we had in 1969, we, of course, had barbecue in 2016 when we uncovered the time capsule, but 50 years from now, there might not be something as simplistic as a barbecue. So we need to think ahead and think about what the folks in the future might think is, important and relevant.
And you bring up a good point, both of you do. We all have a photo album stored somewhere, at least our era does, something that my daughter probably will not have, but the difference is my photo albums are kept nice and put away. 50 years from now, she can bring those out and look through them, where if she's got a bunch of photos on a hard drive or stored in the cloud or whatever, they may be gone. Who knows what it's going to be like? So you got to think that way.
Yes.
I think that's neat. And of course, the revitalization going on at the harbor is just going to be wonderful. And has that started as far as breaking ground?
It will officially break ground shortly.
Okay.
And I think one of the first things in the harbor that will be constructed will be the parking structure, which will hold 2,000 plus cars. We have a big ceremony coming up to light up the harbor for the holidays, and we're looking to, sometimes looking at a time right before Thanksgiving, I think, to make that happen.
Okay.
And of course, we have
That's a wonderful time.
Our boat parade, our 45th annual boat parade this year as well.
Yeah, that is just, if you haven't been down there for the harbor, for the lights and all, it is really a wonderful time, and I enjoy that very much, and glad to see things are going well. You almost have to do the parking structure first. It may not be the most glamorous, but you're going to be tearing up the regular parking lot, so you got to keep people parked.
Yes, well, and in the harbor, we've always had a shortage of parking.
Yeah, well, that's true, so that's going to be good. Hey, I want to bring up something that I get the supervisor's email every Friday, and I think we have a photo of this, and you were honored by the Japanese American Citizens League, right?
Yes.
And we've got your honor here, the nice plaque that you got, or actually it looks like a glass or lucite kind of a statue there. And tell us about this. This is wonderful.
This was something that happened a few weeks ago, and the Japanese American Citizens League, they're very proud of me to be the first Japanese American on the Orange County Board of Supervisors. And they wanted to honor me for speaking out, because it's really difficult as a public official to sometimes speak about painful events that occurred.
Right.
And this has to do with speaking out and doing the right thing, even though you're in politics, but always wanting to make a point and talk about issues that aren't always pleasant and at the forefront of everyone's thoughts about getting out there in the public and talking about painful experiences.
Yeah. And is there a place people can go here in Orange County? Because I know there's the one in LA, the Japanese American League, the museum. I don't know if it's a museum but it's in Japantown up there. What about here in Orange County? Is there something like that?
We currently don't have anything in Orange County. We do have Japanese Garden. That is at the Civic Center. But that's a really good thought, and I know the Japanese American Citizens League is looking for something in Orange County that will be relevant and can hold a lot of important information relating to the Japanese Americans and the contributions that have been made over the years.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. That would be fun to have. And I haven't been up to the one in LA. I've been since years ago. I grew up in the Bay Area, the one in San Francisco. But that would be neat to have. So you look into that.
I am
going
to do that, yes.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming on today. I think, the whole time capsule thing is absolutely wonderful. How are you going to seal it this time, by the way? Going to use duct tape?
Well, rather than just taking a random pipe and doing our best with duct tape, this time we've actually purchased a box intended to be a time capsule. It's designed for it. It will be sealed against the elements, and we even have a beautiful logo on the front, dedicated to 50 years of Dana Point Harbor. So,
all right, that is great. Great to have you on. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice
and we'll get you back sometime. Just of course, we'll have the supervisor back. But you ever want to come on and just talk about the history of Orange County, being
Anytime.
an archivist where people can go and see a lot of things?
Anytime.
That would be a pleasure.
Be happy to do it.
All right, Chris, thank you, and Supervisor, always good to see you.
You as well.
And we'll be right back.